parties, virtual toasts, and are you a member of FB groups where you pretend like you're in your favorite club or bar? Do you miss your favorite DJ or your favorite live band? If so, grab a drink, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Nightlife is an integral part of modern culture. It inspires creativity and self expression. Celebrating and partying are also a very powerful cause of enjoyment. Nightlife offers us that space. Aside from the economy, with jobs and contributing sales to alcohol and tobacco, nightlife is a creative industry. Nightlife allows experience of the cutting edge of contemporary culture, music, art, food, fashion, etc. So what's the current situation in nightlife for Metro Manila? Nightlife establishments were first to close and are likely last to open. Considered non-essential businesses because they're primarily used for socialization, bars and DJs are trying to keep their heads above water by reinventing their services. Some are doing deliveries, online performances that seek for donations to sustain their displaced staff. The rest of nightlife are reinventing this experience too. Some are live streaming performances and doing some cocktail tutorials to try and recreate the experiences. But is it actually doing that? Let's find out what's happening with the rest of the world with our segment called Trending Today. In Korea, after reopening nightlife following decline in cases, districts were shut down again after a boom in infections in early May around the Itaewon district. Measures like QR code and entry for electronic tagging are being explored. In
Nightclubs, bars, and singing rooms here in South Korea will be required to use QR codes to log visitors starting this month. Now, this comes as the government tightens quarantine for facilities which it deems high risk, including all nightlife establishments. The measure will be implemented across the country starting June 10th after a week-long pilot run in the capital Seoul, Incheon, and Daejeon starting this Monday.
In Hong Kong, after a month of quarantine, social distancing was relaxed in Lang Kwai Fong, and businesses were allowed to reopen under strict social distancing regulations. In Thailand, government is looking to open nightlife around early to mid-June, with a focus primarily on tracing and tracking. And in Japan, some businesses were allowed to resume operations, with the populace split on whether to go or to stay at home. Well, nightlife venues seems to be making their way out at night. The question, though, is how? That's what the world of nightlife is. But what's happening here in Metro Manila? That's the uncertainty about the future of nightlife that we're going to answer tonight. I'd like to believe that the faint light that we're seeing is not the dimming future of nightlife, but the flickering lights that signal hope. But will nightlife make a comeback this 2020? We'd like to invite everybody to put your vote in as we put up the poll, asking the question, will nightlife make a comeback this 2020? Tell me what you guys think. But in the meantime, I want to know what our panelists think of it today as we bring them for hot takes. We have Manila's top party purveyors and nightlife business owners with us tonight. And I hope they're having a drink and relaxing at home. But we will find out what they think. First off, we have the owner of 2020 and Black Market. Please welcome Ana Sobrepeña Ong. Hi, Ana.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Next, we have the co-founder of CC Concepts, unknown today, ex-future and futurist, and also a renowned DJ. Please welcome Samantha Nicole. Hi, Sam.
Hello. Hi.
Next is the president of Kampay and Nokal, among others. Please welcome Mr. Marco Viray.
Hey guys, cheers.
Managing Director of Route 196 and bassist for Itchy Worms. Please welcome Kelvin Yu.
Hi guys, hello.
And last but not the least, he's been dubbed as Manila's King of Nightlife and President of the Palace Group. Please welcome Mr. Eric Kua.
Hi guys,
Eric.
cheers.
All right. So the hot take question for everyone, and I want you to answer with just a yes or no, is will nightlife make a comeback this 2020? Answer it right now. Yes, with a vengeance, I hope. Wala namang depend, Sam.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
I think we can talk about it later.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's a resounding yes for everyone, I think, except for depends. But I'll take that as a yes. But at this point, we'd like to encourage our live viewers to key in their questions in the comment section because we will be picking out questions to be answered later by our panelists. We'd also like to remind everybody that there is an active poll, and we're going to pull it up right now. We asked the question, will nightlife make a comeback this 2020? And so far, the results are not yet in. So we would ask everybody to answer that question, and we're going to pull that up in a bit. Right now, we would like to bring you in to a segment called The Slant. In this segment, we're going to ask everybody, what is the importance of vibrant and a dynamic nightlife for any metropolis? So maybe we can start off by asking the lady in the room, Anna.
Hi,
What
guys.
is the importance of Manila's nightlife in terms of its being vibrant and dynamic?
Well, aside from the obvious things, like job placement and tourism and taxes paid to the city, I think it's important that our city, especially Metro Manila, has a dynamic and diverse nightlife. This way we can have a platform for artists to perform. Also, we can inspire future business owners as well as future artists who come to our venues and are inspired by the people that they see and meet.
Nice. Marco, Eric, would you like to add anything to that?
Sure. Like of course, like nightlife is created as a release for everyone. It's like taking a vacation, but instead you can just go out at night, forget all your worries, have fun with your friends, and socialize. But right now that's not allowed. But yes, there's a ways around that. And also, I believe that having nightlife is integral to all great cities. Let's say all great cities have a vibrant nightlife. It just makes the city more dynamic. You give choices for everyone. If they want to do, they want to watch a band, they want to watch see the underground scene, they want to go to a big club. There should be something for everyone. And that also makes the tourism of a city more interesting.
Okay. Marco, you want to add anything?
Yeah. No, aside from what they've said, I think having a vibrant nightlife is also basically helping the community. Just look at Poblacion as an example. With having a lot of these bars and restaurants open at night, it's pretty much kind of gentrified the neighborhood. So it's created a better economy for the place, created more jobs, and I think it's quite essential to actually keep the nightlife alive.
I like the last point that you brought up, Marco, because I've been noticing in the past. I mean, I'm also part of the nightlife industry, and I'm very proud to say that whenever a community emerges, a nightlife community emerges in a particular part of the city, you'll notice that all these buildings start coming up, all these new businesses, offices to condominiums start coming up. Do you think this is directly related to nightlife? I mean, I'm asking the question for everyone, of course.
Definitely, yes. I totally agree, Marco. A long time ago, we opened Embassy in the Fort in 2003 or 2004. At that time, the Fort was very quiet. Then after we kind of jumpstart, we helped jumpstart communities, even with just nightlife. After that, we moved to Resorts World, and then back to the Fort. When we moved back to Palace, actually the area we were the first to open there. There was no malls, there was no condominiums. It was just actually the Palace that was there.
Yeah, I remember those locations were just all like mga talahib or like grassy areas, right? Literally. And Anna also, I think for the Pasong Tamo area, you brought back life to that area. I remember the Abigis days, but
That's
now,
right.
you guys have brought it back there. What type of impact have you done to that area?
Well, we're located in La Fuerza, which is mostly galleries. But when we first started there, we had a difficult time because obviously it wasn't a popular area for clubs. But now that we're there, we've managed to survive, and now it's lively and there's less crime in the area, and there's life and culture in where we are now.
Yes, I think also like especially for your group, Anna, you've really brought back contemporary art. Like I know you guys do a lot of like art sessions, and you try to stay out of the mainstream, which is really good because you're giving opportunities to these artists who would have not have an opportunity or had the platform without you guys, right?
I would like to believe so. Yeah. I don't want to take all the credit, but thank you.
You're humble, but yes, you are part of that. Um, So my question to you guys now is we're talking about the nightlife business and nobody seems to be talking about it. People are talking about resorts, hotels, restaurants, even the live event sector now has a representation because we have come together as a community, right? But I mean, how hard has the pandemic really hit your businesses, like as bar owners, as club owners? Let's start with Eric this time.
Okay, so of course, really hard. We closed mid March, so we have zero income, and of course, we still have our expenses. We still have some fixed expenses. The only silver lining is that our landlord is really considerate and hasn't been charging us rent. But despite this, there's other expenses. We also employ like 500 people, and 95% of these people have no work, no pay right now.
Yeah.
So that's the really
I think
big thing.
That's one point that's not really noticed that these establishments really employ a lot of people because they take different shifts, right, going into the daylight from late afternoon to the daytime, right? Marco and Anna, have you had the same experience or are you guys having it worse, better?
For us, I'll do it by establishment. Like Kampai, for example, with regards to our landlords, they've actually been very accommodating. They've been helping out with the situation. And with Kampai, since we technically just reopened right before the lockdown happened, we are able to kind of pause the operation and just maybe reopen once we're ready to reopen because of this pandemic. With NoCal, it's a different story. With NoCal, I'm also having big issues with my landlord. It's not as accommodating as most landlords are during the situation. So our expenses and our overhead is actually quite high. Aside from that, it's also affected a lot of the employees. So a lot of the people who work for us, currently also aren't getting paid because, no work, no pay. So we're trying to do as much as we can, but so far it's been really hard for everyone.
Anna, same experience, or are you pivoting? Are you doing something else?
Well, after hearing the gentleman speak, I feel a little bit better because Eric, 500 people is no joke. Huh?
Yeah.
But I think I guess it's the same experience for us, only on a smaller scale because we're not as big as these guys, and so. I guess it's the same experience because we also have to think about our staff and these expenses. But thankfully, we are now in a dialogue with our landlord and mukhang positive naman. I just have to check back next week to see what the final decision is with our rent. Basically, the rent is the problem.
Well, there's a lot of our viewers are actually, aside from being business owners, a lot of them are nightlife stakeholders. Like we're talking about DJs, promoters, and all these things. How do you think? I mean, I know they don't have work right now, but how do you think they're coping, and what do you think they're going to be doing next after this? Considering that we haven't, the establishments haven't been open. Eric.
Okay. It asks about DJs, promoters.
DJs, promoters. I mean, what do you see as the future for these guys?
Well, I'm really hoping that we'll be able to open sooner than I initially thought. Initially thought I was thinking about how we can reopen like September, October. But now that how we see that dine-in restaurants will start to open in June, like end of June, I think allowed the dine-in. I think bars will come naturally after dine-in restaurants. Okay, so I'm forecasting behind. I was thinking September before. Now I'm thinking maybe August we can open our bars now. Hopefully.
Okay, so that's a good sign for the promoters and DJs because these are the stakeholders that people probably don't know also belong to the establishments because they only see the wait staff. They only see the security. one other thing I noticed, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there no like association or coalition or group that binds together all these nightlife establishments that specifically focus on the needs of this particular industry? Am I right to assume this, Marco? Do you have any?
Not that I'm aware of. Although we do have an association here in Poblacion for
In
a lot of
Poblacion?
the business owners. Not really directed into nightlife, to bars and clubs, but it also includes the restaurants around the area.
Poblacion in general.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So I guess my question to everybody is, and you can flash your yes or no sign again, is there a need to establish an association, whether it's formal or not, or a coalition? Do you think there's a reason for that? Let's see. Yes. Okay. So Anna is yes also. So if it's a resounding yes, then I guess what we can do here at Project Ripple is really help bring the business owners together by putting you all together in a Facebook group called Restart Business, so that everybody can start the dialogue. So we'll put that up later on at the latter part of the show. Okay, just a few more questions. So aside from being closed, do you think there will be a spike in business after the quarantine though? Like, do you think it will happen when it finally opens? Like everybody will come out like in hordes. Anna?
Well, if you look at history, whenever there's a suppression, what follows is an intense need to go against what was suppressed. So right now, I feel suppressed because I can't go out. I can't go to the club. I'm not hungover a lot, and I like being hungover. And so I really believe that after all of this mess, I think everybody's going to come out and support their venues and their artists.
Everybody agrees? Want to add anything, Marco, Eric?
No, I think I hope that's what happens. But I'm also, part of me is also thinking that this might be gradual. So, we might start off a bit slow until things get better, until, we do get certain guidelines and proper things in place. So for me, I hope that's the situation when right after there will be a spike and people start coming out, start going to our establishments. But I'm also kind of expecting the worst, which is, for me, I think we have to build it up slowly. And eventually we might get there. We should get there.
Okay, so build it up slowly. I like that. Okay, right now we have a video question from one of our Man About Town DJs, Mr. David Argente. Let's pull up that question.
Hi, guys. Good evening to all of you. Hope you guys are doing okay tonight. Just a quick question. Some of the other countries have already opened up their nightlife industry. And if we do get to that point, what measures are you going to take to ensure the health and safety of all your staff and customers? Thanks.
Okay, that was a really good question from David Argente. So what are you guys doing? What type of health and safety measures are you guys going to be adopting? Let's start with Eric this time.
Okay, I understand that DTI has already released a list of requirements for all dining restaurants to open. So these are very standard things. So for example, temperature check, no mask, no entry, distance tables 1 meter apart, the order should be medyo automated and cashless payment. So I think for bars, it's going to be all of these things plus more. So yeah.
With Dallas having like one of the biggest dance floors, do you expect people to be, bumping and grinding in the middle of the dance floor when the ECQ is lifted?
Okay, initially I think we're going to have to pivot the nightclubs slightly into bars. I think we should only be doing table reservations at the start. So basically, so no standing room, table reservations only. So example, your table can fit 8 people, then those 8 people can go to that table and mingle amongst themselves to start. That's the start. So I think it's baby steps.
Yeah, you think you'll allow people to commingle in other tables or just stick to your table in the meantime?
Maybe initially, just to be safe, stick to your table.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm being very, very safe. Yeah.
Okay, good ideas, Eric. Marco?
Yeah, I think the safety of the customers and the staff is very important. For us, like right now, we're actually starting to pivot the business, especially for NoCal. We're really concentrating on our food. So right now, we're actually concentrated on the deliveries and the takeout. So a lot of the effort that we're doing is actually just concentrated on the food. Depending on the situation, I think we will have to start off as more of a restaurant with drinks, with alcohol, and then eventually slowly get into becoming more of a bar and then becoming a club. Um, what we're doing now, so we're actually testing our employees. Um, there's ideas that were thrown out to us, wherein what if we also, because there are these rapid kits coming out now where you can actually get results in 10 minutes. So we were also thinking, what if we open, and then what if we offer this rapid test kits to customers coming in, so it ensures the safety of people coming into the establishment. So that's another thing that we're also looking into. But for that to be done, I don't know how realistic we can do that. But so far, we're also kind of just waiting on guidelines coming from the government on how we can start our operation. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, I like your idea, Marco, about the rapid test kits at the door. It's sort of like the new VIP pass or the new entrance fee before you
Yeah.
enter. But like, how about the cost? Because I know the rapid test kits, they're not cheap. Like, do
Yeah.
you imagine it being paid by
Well,
the customers?
what I was thinking, like I had this idea, like in Poblacion, since we are, we have a bunch of bars and restaurants in the area.
Yeah.
A good idea that I was thinking was, what if we have a testing station in the neighborhood?
Mm,
People before going out, before they go to the bars, they go to the
mm,
testing stations. Test kits now range, I don't know, for anywhere from like 500 to 700 pesos.
yeah. And it
If
will
we can,
probably get cheaper as time goes
yeah.
by, right? Yeah.
And then the cost for this, we can either split it between the business owners. If
Mm,
let's say someone tests negative, you get a ban for the night, and you can actually come into the different bars.
nice.
So that goes in line with what they're doing in Korea with the RFID and all that. So
Yeah.
I think that's an idea, but I don't know if that's really realistic for us to do. We can
Mm,
possibly get sponsors to also help us out with the cost.
yeah.
Um, but I hope this idea goes somewhere. But for now, I don't know.
Yeah, at least you guys are taking the initiative to think of these ideas. At the end of the day, if nobody moves, nothing will move, right?
Yeah.
Anna, any ideas for health and safety for your staff and for your customers?
Like what these guys said, we really need to wait for the guidelines sent by the government. But in my head, we normally don't charge door at our venues, only for special events. But as part of our because we're trying to make everybody safe, maybe we can charge door, and it includes a rapid test, a mask, uh, or something else, just to make everybody safe. And
Mm,
we do have a venue in Poblacion. So Marco, I really like that idea. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but for Pasong Tamo, because we're kind of a standalone venue there, like it's just us over there, we need to be a little bit more creative with the way we do things.
Okay. All right. Good ideas as well, Anna. At this point, we actually took the initiative and we invited a health and safety specialist. He's actually the guy who's behind the health and safety regulations that's being proposed for the National Live Events Coalition. So we're gonna pull up a video, a video from Mr. Rico Santiago, and let's hear what he has to say.
Good evening. My name is Rico Santiago from National Event Safety Association and former Senior Security Manager of the Cove Manila Arocada. The most important policy that comes to my mind is education. If you look back 6 months ago and compare with what we have learned in the past few months in the lockdown, we have learned one, the virus can't kill. Two, it spreads fast. Three, it can destroy the economy, and four, we lose jobs. Knowing all that, it's time that our staff be educated on health and safety for all staff, for their customers, making sure they are safe while under our care in the venue, and we know how to properly manage serious situations that will deal with sudden emergencies. Um, I would say the policy for bar and club owners would be one, clean and sanitize a bar or club, get professional cleaners specialized in disinfecting, lay out new policies in regards to health and safety, such as bring in of masks, sanitize at each table, the bar door, um, contactless payments, capacity reduction, closer monitoring of staff's health, stringent screening of guests booking their visits instead of popping up last minute at the front door, PPE equipment for staff, proper use of PPE, and penalties for not wearing it. For staff and security, I strongly suggest the following: get proper training, first aid, alcohol management, risk assessment and management, hazard identification, uh, coordination training with security and bar staff. Most important, a standard operating procedure to address every situation that can go wrong in the establishment. Create an emergency management plan in case of a serious situation. Those are some of the things that I suggest that um, we should implement for the new norm. It's actually more on education, right, and starting to teach people now how to handle situations. It costs a lot of money to open a bar, but leaving costs more money when they shut you down and people do get hurt.
All right. So very good ideas from Rico Santiago. He's really they're formalizing these proposals with the live events industry. So I think this is something that the nightlife industry can also adopt, which again goes back to my point. You guys need to organize yourselves, and hopefully after the show you guys will. So any thoughts on what Rico just ran through? Marco, do you agree,
Yeah.
disagree?
No,
Wanna add?
completely agree. I think maybe I can give Rico a call after this and then pick his brain some more. But
Yeah.
yeah, all the ideas that he said were very valid, and I agree with them.
Eric, do you
Yeah.
want to add anything?
Oh yeah, sounds really good. Yeah, he's on point. Maybe let's say Poblacion for Palas, because they're quite big. We can hire our own health expert to cater to handle the entire area and do your rapid test there, diba?
Like an in-house health and safety officer.
Yes, at least that makes it more legit and responsible.
Okay.
You can have one for the whole Poblacion. Yeah.
And how about for those boutique independent bars?
Okay, if you can maybe if we're like Singapore, like Korea, where they have the QR code, you have all your information there, and then they should say there that you were tested in the past week or something.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, then that will gain you access to the bars.
Okay. Anna?
That means you have to be tested every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anna, how about you?
I'm actually just trying to figure out how to open right at this point, and
Okay.
ideas will come in later. But I'm watching and I'm following the leaders of the industry in Manila and worldwide, and so we're keeping watch to see what we can do to keep everybody safe.
Okay, so one step at a time. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that you've heard from the perspective of pure business owners, let's welcome our guests who actually wear two hats. Please welcome back Kelvin and Sam. And we all know Kelvin, of course, from the popular band Itchy Worms, and Sam, popular DJ as well with Unknown. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
guys. Okay,
Hi.
so as an artist and as a business owner, do you feel that you guys are both hit twice because you lost, your income both as a business owner and as an artist?
Basically, like kami sa band, we basically have zero gigs right now, and I don't think we'll be getting back to yung normal gigs namin anytime soon, diba? So yeah, and as a partner at Route 196 and wala ngang gigs, so yun din. So both sides, we really felt the hit talaga.
But which one are you prioritizing, Kelvin? Is it more the bar right now, or is it more of the band? Because you've been in the music industry for quite some time now.
Sa band naman, we're still keeping busy naman. We're recording, we're writing new songs. We're actually releasing an album soon.
Okay.
But it's more, but it's still not anywhere near to what we've been to how busy we were like a few months ago, diba? So and sa bar naman right now we're still closed. We're still waiting kung ano yung next steps namin, like what Anna said, like nag-negotiate kami with the landlord, things like that. So let's still wait and see. We're still thinking na kasi mauna syempre like restaurants first before yung mga bars. So we'll be taking the lead ng mga restaurants because it's an aspect anyway of a bar, yung restaurant side.
Correct. Okay, Sam, I know that you guys organize these amazing underground parties called Unknown, and on top of that, your bars have been hit, and of course you're also a DJ, so you actually might have been hit like three-way, right? In a certain sense. So, how are you coping with this particular scenario?
Well, there's picking up from what Kelvin said. Like we keep busy, but we're also mainly waiting. Because before we were like, I don't know how to manage my time because we were running 2 bars, running an events company, and whenever I get the chance, I try and play DJ sets. So with all of that suddenly being essentially taken away from you, it's a huge challenge, I guess. But the good thing about it is we've stayed very productive in a way, converted what we can from physical to digital. I've just been, as a DJ, I've just been digging music and just been connecting with local talents as well. And with both the spaces of feature and futurist and unknown, we've just been trying to do what we can to stay in touch with our community. So yeah, but yeah, it's really, really hard, man. Like it's like 3 hats taken away from you. So it's crazy.
You mentioned digitizing a lot of the stuff you're doing. So my question to you guys both is: do you see a trend, a growing trend towards live streaming performances for your establishments, like both for live music and for DJs? Is that something that's you don't think people are gonna get tired of it eventually? That all of the DJs, all of the bands are playing online. What do you guys think? Let's start with Sam this time.
With unknown and future enterprise, I guess we can just total it into one. We did start doing live streams almost as soon as everything was on pause. But I do know that everyone has a shorter attention span online than offline because it's a really different experience when you're in a physical space. So to answer the question that if it could be the new thing or if it could last, it's pretty hard to say because it's with our industry, people need to be physically connected with other people. People need to be where you are. People need to be experiencing or hearing the music or like being pawis with everybody else in a packed dance floor. For now, it's a sort of a band-aid solution, I guess, but we need to do what we can to continue what we're doing until we can go back to what we were doing. So yeah.
Yeah, being pawis in the dance floor is, I think, a big no-no right now because that's the best. You get the droplets. But Kelvin, yung sa live bands, are you guys doing live streaming for your bars? Like you branded Route 186, right?
Route 196. Route 196. Yeah. For now, we've actually we as a band, yung sa Achievers, we've been doing that yung live streaming but on our own capacity lang. But for yung bar mismo, yung Route 196, we've been wanting to explore yung possibility ng eventually having a live component na siguro like 50 people lang or half lang na capacity and making it like a pay to watch na streaming, something like that. But we have to figure out the logistics. But as of now, wala pa kaming ginagawa na streaming na labeled as Route 196 kasi basically mahirap din it's hard to stream din live music here na banda kasi hindi maganda yung internet connection natin. So what we do usually is sa Achievers we pre-record and then we stream. Pero yung live na tugtog na sabay-sabay, hindi ko pa nakikitang nagagawa successfully yan here.
I think the main issue also is latency, right? Hindi nagsasabay yung vocals. So yeah, okay.
Kahit ngayon mag-clap tayo, hindi tayo magsasabay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, wala.
All right. So my next question is, do you guys think that nightlife is an essential business or a non-essential business? I mean, you guys, I think some of you answered it a while ago, but like, I want to hear it from the perspective of artists. Sam, you want to start?
Sure. Of course, it's an essential business. Actually wrote something that came out in CNN about it. It is an essential business in a way that it provides. It provides in different ways. Like culturally, you provide a space for people to express themselves freely without being judged, or like to find their sense of community outside of their work, outside of their family. And it's essential in a way economically as well. It provides jobs. The amount of syntax our industry generates, and then socially, you provide a sense of belongingness to people and a sense of pleasure, because I would think everyone would be going insane just to be working
I
or
agree.
like fulfilling their boxed, comfortable duties. People need a sense of escape, need a sense of pleasure, need a sense of community. So it is an essential business, but yeah, we have so much work to do.
Yeah, ang ganda. I think you really captured the essence of nightlife. I mean, like even the simple things. I think a lot of couples, married couples, would not have met if not for nightlife. Di
Oh
ba? I
yes,
mean,
yes.
that's essential. I mean, it's not all about hookups and getting drunk. I mean, these things that you mentioned are really important. Kelvin, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, ako siguro parang it's kind of like parang siguro unfair in a way to label it as non-essential. I think naman tama sabi ni Samantha na I think naman as long as if it's a business, I think it's essential to the community. Kasi wala naman papasok sa business na palugi. So ibig sabihin, kumikita ka and then you're paying you're parang you fulfill the cycle ng babayaran mo suppliers mo who hire their own people, you hire your own people. So I think essential lahat. It's more of siguro yung may hierarchy lang siguro ng yung syempre una yung basic needs mo, yung food, things like that. But I think essential pa rin yung nightlife, yung going out kasi it keeps everyone sane, di ba? Na di man pa din nagtatrabaho ka lang lagi.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's an
Okay.
industry that it has a lot of heart. A lot of nightlife owners don't make a good living or a rich living out of it, but they do it because they're passionate about it.
That's true.
So that alone should be enough to make it essential.
I started in the nightlife industry around like 20 plus years ago. So let's not count. But for me, I've always thought of nightlife as the pulse of the nation, of the country, of the city. Like if nightlife is doing well, the pulse is doing well. And also, I think it's also the soul of the nation. I think I don't know if you guys agree. Anyway, at this point, we would like to bring in a question from a fellow bar owner, Fabio Ide. Here we go.
Hey guys, kamusta? Fabio Ide here. So my first question is, do you believe that people still want to go out to these places despite of the noticeable difference that we have now? And also I would like to know if you guys believe that people still want to party while observing social distancing. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that's a good question from a staple in the party scene, Fabio Ide. So, would you like to take a jab at it, Kelvin? So basically, he's asking like, will people wanna go out even if it's different experience now? Like people are probably gonna be 2 feet, 3 feet apart.
Yeah. I think naman people will definitely want to go out kasi hindi naman we can't stay like quarantine or locked down forever, diba? But siguro sa simula there will be like medyo hesitant lang syempre yung mga tao, planning pa yung mga tao. But eventually naman pag may guidelines na proper that they're following, that they need to follow na provide sa mga tao, I think people will get back to normal eventually. But sa simula syempre may apprehensions pa yan. But it will get there. Although siguro medyo different lang yung experience sa simula. Like pag bars, I'm sure there will be under capacity as compared to before. Diba? So it will be a different experience, but people will still want to go out kasi it will still provide change of scenery from the office, from staying at home, diba?
That's right. I think it's a change of scenery from the virtual parties, like
Yes.
virtual platform. Sam, can you imagine unknown rave parties, but like 3 feet apart?
We've actually been talking about it a lot. But with unknown, we're also so very hungry to be doing all these parties. And even with today's future and futures, we're all very hungry to come back and get into it again. To answer Fabio's question, it's a resounding yes. I really think people want to go out, people want to let loose, and people want to escape. Just considering everything that's happening around the world right now, people need an escape. People need to feel like, they need to be somewhere else. But also, it still depends on what's going to be happening in the future. Yes, there is every chance for nightlife businesses to open up. Yes, there is every chance for people to be to want to go out. But it also depends on a lot of things, especially on how cooperative or helpful the government will be, because there would need to be adjustments, obviously. I think all business owners are already very aware of what the safety measures would be. So I think it's a bit of a collaboration and cooperation with the government on how we can all make this work for everyone. Because I think people would go insane if you can't go out and let loose and experience something else.
Got it. So yung pala yung depends mo, Sam. Depends on.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't
I
put
know.
it in, but I'm really inclined to answer.
It also depends on the discipline of people, diba? Because one irresponsible party or nightlife goer or customer can just F it up for the whole industry.
Exactly.
I think it happened in Korea, and we don't want it to happen in the Philippines, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Right now, we're gonna bring back all our panelists because we're gonna answer some questions from our live audience, and that's Eric, Anna, and Marco. Back to the set, please. Okay, and the question is a question from Naj Castro 06. The question is, how can you flash the question? How can you maintain the specific community that you've cultivated in your space? How can you maintain the specific community that you've cultivated in your space? I guess because each business owner here has a very particular niche, right? Maybe let's start with Anna.
Right. So, because I've been doing it for so long, my husband and I have been in the scene for, I think, 20 years, maybe longer than you, Stephen. Let's not count.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
and I think people already expect a certain vibe when they come to our venues, and so we just have to keep on pushing the subculture. And we promise our patrons that we won't really disappear. At this point, we just have to kind of be quiet a little bit, but we definitely have great ideas coming up, and we're so excited to have everybody back in our venues and still pushing the same thing that we've been pushing all these years.
Okay, so that's the indie medyo pobla culture. Eric, how about the mainstream culture? How are you planning to keep them engaged?
Okay. So what we've done since we've been closed is we launched a couple of the online virtual shows. So we've had all our resident DJs play in silo, by themselves, and then we posted on FB. We had an FB Live, YouTube Live. Then it was all for charity. So we were able to raise a lot of money for our employees and UNICEF for that series. We're doing another series on June 12, another 6 shows. Besides these shows, we're also gonna try to do like a virtual club. It's gonna be Zoom based. Basically, you can go to the Palace virtually. You can go to Silo, listen to Ace. You can go to another, let's say, you can go to Revel, and you can listen to Uric. You can go to Yes Please, and then there's a bartender making teaching you how to make drinks. And then you go to another bar. Then it's a trivia night or a game night. Then there's like breakout rooms where you can just talk to different people.
So it's like going all around Palace. That's a really, really good idea, Eric.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
How about Go ahead. You want to add anything else?
Yeah. So basically, we're not doing this to make money. We're just doing this for our branding, so people won't forget us. Another thing we just started was a palace delivery at home. So we're doing party packages where we deliver, let's say, a Mexican night comes with tacos, nachos, quesadillas, and a bottle of tequila, like
Nice.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like you guys are all still maintaining the branding, the marketing for your brand, so that you are relevant. So, Marco and Sam, Kevin, you guys feel that this is essential now, even if you're not operational, to really, make your brand top of mind for all your customers. Marco.
Yeah. For us, definitely yes. So we want to stay relevant and we still want to connect with our customers. What we've done, similar to what everyone's doing, is we have been doing some live feeds for, some DJs playing. For Kampai, we even had like a quick question and answer portion for the employees, the bartenders. So if you want to get to know the bartenders, you can do so. NoCal just recently launched the bodega idea. So what we're doing now on the second floor, if you go to NoCal, we're actually, it looks like a bodega from New York, like a liquor store. You can buy all these things, different sorts of things. We're gonna have some frozen burger patties available, so you can take it home and cook it yourself. And as time goes on, as new guidelines come out, we're gonna adapt to the situation and make sure that we're still connecting with the customers.
Okay. Ang ganda na, ang ganda na, Marco. Pinasosyal mo yung bodega.
Bodega.
How about for unknown? Are you guys maintaining the branding? You mentioned a while ago you're doing live streams, right, Sam?
Yep. Actually, when everything started, we started a campaign called Unknown from Home. So we have all these different kind of online activities. That's could be a Spotify playlist. It could be live streams. And it's also tied in with CSR. And then we got to gather different local talents. Because if anything, what this pandemic taught us in the events industry is appreciate your own backyard. Like there's so many local talent right now that needs to be highlighted even more. So what we did was to call on these local talents and just give them a platform. So like every week we would release their videos of their original live performances and all that. And we also have like DJ mixes and everything that we can do that we could stay connected with our community, because we've been pretty lucky to have created such a solid kind of people who are all coming from different diverse walks of life. So what we can do is to just unite them and keep them entertained. And remember that we're still here. We're still providing the music. We're still providing an experience that they could also discover new talent apart from their international DJs or their regular DJs. So yeah.
Actually, I'd like to commend all of you guys, all the nightlife business owners, but most of them, even globally. Now, despite closing, the priority has still been like to reach out and help other people in these times. Now, parang galing. I mean, I'm really impressed at how you guys are doing it. Next question we have is actually from Richard Peter Michael, and I'll throw this to Kelvin. The question is, if you reopen, what is the capacity that you plan to implement? You want to start up?
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, me and my partners were exploring na yung opening up eventually to mga crowd of 50, mga ganun. Kasi yung capacity namin mga nasa yung talagang siksikan talaga. We can fit like 300 plus to almost 400 people there. So maybe we'll nakatayo lahat yan. So maybe we want to parang go towards yung direction na lounge na siya, na may couches, na separate, tas siguro at any time 50 people lang nandun, including the band. Diba? So, and then we'll have a live component na nandun, and then we'll have a streaming component. So I think we'll have to go towards that direction, at least for the meantime when we start.
Okay. Eric, do you imagine like square boxes in the middle of the dance floor, or not anytime soon?
No, I imagine initially no dance floor, but then we'll replace the dance floor with tables.
Okay, so no dancing right now. Okay, no dancing.
You can dance in your seat.
We are going to bring out the poll results for the first one. Will nightlife make a comeback this 2020? And the results are very positive. 61% think it will come back. and 39% satisfied. Let's all clap together, even if it's not together. Okay. At this point, we would like to bring up the next poll, which we would like everybody to answer. And the question is, if restrictions on nightlife are eased or lifted, will you be going out again soon?
Yes.
Yes or
Yes.
no? No, for the
Yes.
audience. For the audience.
Wow.
You guys.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Sige, pero pwede rin kayo sumagot kasi you guys go to other bars as well. But yeah, that's the question that we have for our audience. So, key in your answer, yes or no. Okay, at this point,
Lahat excited lumabas.
lahat excited lumabas. Yes, for sure. Sawang-sawa na sila sa mga virtual toast. It is such a phenomenon, like, watching those, I'm seeing on Facebook, those pretend like I'm in Poblacion groups. It really speaks of how pent up the energies of people are, that they're already imagining themselves in their favorite bars and clubs. It's actually amazing. It's a phenomenon. Okay, so we have one last question here from Austin Castañeda, and we're gonna pull it up. I think you guys probably know him. What can you say to help change people's minds about nightlife just being a vice? Oh, yan, maganda. Good question. Who wants to take a jab at this? First crack.
Anna.
Pardon the pun. First crack.
Guys, it's gonna be okay.
Anna, first crack.
It's
Seniority.
gonna be okay. I just want to point out that there are some cities that were during the war. I think it was a city in Israel that their nightlife survived even during a civil war. So I don't see why we can't continue, and I don't see how. I think it's even worse. It's gonna be bad for us if we don't socialize, and if it's gonna be like, you're gonna see all sorts of mental problems and like depression, everywhere. And I don't recommend not going out.
So Anna, your platform is, this is really good for mental health, right? That's your platform.
Well, for me it is. I don't know how everybody else
No,
feels.
I agree. Definitely. Flash your yes if you all agree, but I agree. Marco, what's your take on this? Do you agree? I mean, what's your suggestion on how to convince, or do we really need to convince people that it's not a vice, that it's actually something meaningful?
Yeah, it's not a vice. I think it really depends on what you do when you go out. It's not, for us, and I guess for everyone here, we do promote responsible partying and socializing. Right. So if let's say you're going out with your friend and you're gonna catch up with a friend you haven't seen in a long time over a beer, is that a vice? Not necessarily. It's not.
Correct.
So I mean, responsible partying, of course, and just it's really just about socializing. And
I think it just really looks shallow on the surface, but you're right. There's a lot of really meaningful things that can happen inside, and I think Samantha or Sam really put it to light in that article sa CNN. Anybody wants to add to that question, or we can pull up another question. Actually, we have one more from Christian Lee. The question is, what do you guys plan to do if the situation doesn't improve next year? Okay, so next year.
Oh, it will improve.
Positive.
Yeah, we're all very positive.
No, sabi ni Christian, what if lang naman? Eric. Sorry. Sige, si Eric muna, Eric. Or who wants to answer this? What if?
Well, okay. Well, of course, in our company, we did like many stages of preparedness. So parang this is like option
plan
one,
A,
option
plan
two.
B.
Yeah. So this is option, the last option. So hopefully we can just shut down the store temporarily until we can reopen again.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
So your advice is, it's like yung ano ben?
Or pivot to a restaurant or something, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So parang that Netflix series, yung Heist. What's that movie with the heist? May plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody wants to add what's gonna happen in case it doesn't reopen next year? Kelvin?
Mag-guest ulit kami dito pag di pa mag-open.
Second show. This has to be the only show.
But hopefully, I think naman ito, honestly, I think it will improve naman.
Yes.
It may.
Yeah.
I think it will improve naman. So let's just
So,
keep positive.
so your answer is you're not even thinking of it, diba?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
even thinking of it.
Okay, sige. All right, so our poll is up. The answers to our poll is up for the second one. And if restrictions on nightlife were lifted, would you go out? And the answer is yes, 69% will go out, and no, 31%. So, guys, good news for everyone. In case you guys open, you do have a market. Congratulations.
Pagdating
All right.
natin 69%.
Hati-hati na lang.
So after getting all the points and perspectives, it's time to hear from our guests with a segment we call Restart. So let's check to see what our panelists suggest for us to restart nightlife. Let's start off with our first candidate, Parang beauty pageant. Marco.
Okay. All right. So, first off, for especially for people who are watching who are kind of like in the same situation as I am, being a business owner, I feel like we should all remain positive. Really look into, a positive outlook for the industry. Aside from that, certain things have to be, have to take change. We have to be creative, we have to be resourceful, and we have to be resilient. I mean, it's very hard for us business owners right now. And the key is we should come up with new ideas, innovative ideas, for us to be able to keep our businesses afloat. We have to adapt to the situation. We have to configure our plans for this year and next year, to adapt to the environment that we're in right now. And I hear this a lot. Everyone, I feel like, is in survival mode. So we have to do what it takes for us to be able to survive. And at the same time, we have to assure the safety of both the employees and the customers. So for me, that's key.
Thank you so much, Marco. Spoken like a true leader. Next up, we have Samantha or Sam.
For me, I picking up from what Marcus said, that I think everyone needs to stay positive, but at the same time stay very aware, because there's a lot of changes every day. There's a lot of zero changes that happens every day. Like, we're all waiting for a vaccine to come out. We're all waiting for better measures or better numbers to come out. But for now, what I really think people in our industry should be doing is doing their research and knowing what they need to do, and not be afraid to ask questions, because everyone doesn't know what they want to do or how this is going to pan out. So I really, really think that it's very important to take the time to get to know your community, like what their needs are, what their wants are, to get to know your other business owners in the industry, what they're trying to do. Because I think the only way we can get out of this in one piece is to get out of it together. So I would hope that after this pandemic, or even in the middle of this pandemic, we would be working better together, whether or not we're in the underground or mainstream scene. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Great insights. I mean, you touched on research and don't be afraid to ask. I think that's something that is prevalent nowadays. Bars are afraid to ask each other because they feel like they're all competition. So yeah, good idea. Next up, we have, of course, the pioneer of this industry, Anna.
Pioneer of this industry. Thank you. You make me sound so old, but I guess like these guys said it all. We just need to be innovative with how we work things these days. I mean, it's not just about throwing parties anymore. It's about being careful and safe and all of that. And I just want to thank you guys for creating this, getting us together, because you would normally not see us in the same room, except for me and Sam. But I'm really excited to be working with you guys and to see how we can collaborate more. I think the key right now is communication, education, and also just collaboration with each other. And what they say about being in a situation like this, we tend to group together and help each other versus fight each other. So I'm really excited about what the future brings.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, definitely collaboration. That's why we're encouraging everybody still to join the Restart Business Group, because that's where we will collaborate. You will have access to a lot of webinars on how to restart your nightlife business and more. Right now, we have Kelvin. Kelvin, what's your restart
Yeah.
idea?
So for now, if you're a bar owner, you can pivot your business in such a way na pwede mo i-monetize or pagkakitaan yung what you have on hand. So usually if you're a live venue, you have a restaurant component, so maybe you can concentrate on food deliveries, parang position yourself as a restaurant during this time. And isa pang if you have a live venue space, it will always have I think it will always have use, lalo na if people are all going to go online streaming. People really can stream na separately, na sabay-sabay, like what we tried kanina. So people will still need a venue for that. So ngayon na medyo ease na yung quarantine, you can do streaming na actual live shows na of bands. So you can provide, you can monetize that as well. So marami bang mga aspects sa pwede mong pagkakitaan, like the streaming and the venue itself.
Galing. Super nice, Kelvin. I'm a big fan of Itchworms as well, and I like the point that you mentioned, pivot. Yan naman ang keyword ni Kelvin. Pivot, don't stay stagnant and just wait for things to happen. Next up, we have, of course, the king of Manila nightlife now. I think he took over from Louis Y.
Okay.
Mr. Eric Kua.
Okay, actually, my answer was also like Kelvin's answer, which was to not be afraid or slow to react and pivot your business. For example, if it's a nightclub, maybe do a bar first, do baby steps. If you have a buffet restaurant, make it a la carte restaurant. If you have a small bar, maybe try to cater it to private parties first only, so at least everyone who goes there they're all friends already. But I guess after building from that, after we restart our business, we need to be responsible enough to run it properly and safely, or else our industry will just get closed down again.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Great ideas. So now that our guests are a little bit tipsy, we can still answer more questions. We were supposed to end the show at 1 hour, but because our viewership is still, we're maintaining our viewership at 300 plus. I think we can answer a few more questions, and because you guys are a bit tipsy now, I think you don't have a choice but to say yes to me. So we'll ask the first question, and the question is from JB Tabuzo, and his question is, how can brand partners help the nightlife industry during this time? So that's very nice of I guess sponsor siya who wants to help the nightlife industry. What do you guys think? Marco, you want to start?
Yeah, for the brands, I think if they want to help us out and support us, maybe they can also sponsor our initiatives, such as the live performances by the DJs and the other artists. We're always thinking about how can we monetize these things, and I think the way to monetize it is for sponsors to come in and support us with these initiatives. So JB, if you want to help us out, I can give you a call right after this and tell you what are your ideas and how we can collaborate.
I think you have a lot of I think you have a lot of takers here, JB. Okay.
Hi,
And
JB.
then our next question is from, can I see that next question? That next question is from Miko Javier. Oh, sorry, Ian Velasco. If successful, how can your ideas and solutions be replicated across the country? Good question, kasi we're talking about Metro Manila, but actually all over the country, there's a lot of bars and clubs that also need help. So, hopefully this coalition can help them also. But then any ideas for the rest of the country? You want to answer that, Anna or Sam?
Anna, you want to go first or?
Dakan po eh. Sige, mauna ako kasi mas matanda. So, we're all in this together. Whether you be in Cebu, Davao, Siargao, Boracay, we're kind of going through the same things because we're governed by the same government. But what we're doing to educate ourselves is to watch regional cities, like for example, Osaka or Tokyo. I do have a friend who owns a couple of clubs in Japan, and he has informed me that his Osaka branch is opening in the next week, and that the chances of his government giving him subsidizing his rent, 50% of his rent is highly possible. I don't know if that's going to happen to us. Most likely not. But just looking over to our neighboring regional cities is very important. Only because I think they're a few steps ahead of us, and there's nothing wrong about learning from other people who are a few steps ahead of us. But there's much of a difference between Metro Manila, Cebu, and all the near cities near us. I think we're going to the same thing, and let's just keep on watching what the regional cities are doing, and I think we'll learn a lot from them.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely collaboration because once an area opens, like another country opens, it sets the precedent with others. Yeah, right. So ganun din for Manila, Cebu, Bacolod daw. It's really about if Manila opens, then the rest of the country will most likely open also. I mean, or vice versa.
Actually, Manila will be last to open. Will be the last.
Correct. So so vice versa. Baka mauna pa Cebu, Bacolod. And so we actually have to look to them to hopefully, if they can reopen, then Manila can also reopen. Okay, another question I think here from Miko Javier. Are we pulling that up? What essentials or immediate support can be provided by business partners to gradually ease in bar operations? What essentials or immediate support? Yeah. Eric, you want to answer that?
Well, for us, we've been already lucky with our partners because we've been supported by them with our online shows already, and also our following shows and our Zoom parties. They're all actually sponsored by partners already.
Okay, so help promote as a business partner. If you're a partner in one of the establishment, help promote the initiatives of that establishment, basically, right?
Yes, no, but they're also supporting us by being our sponsoring our
our
events.
sponsor funding it also. Oh, that's good. Okay, good.
Of course, they could also provide us with let's say hygiene equipment, like if they wanted to give us equipment like thermal scanners or like those sanitation pods. Yeah.
Okay, Marco, you want to add anything to that? I mean, you also have a lot of partners, no?
Yeah. For now, I think just help promoting is one. Of course, the emotional support is also helpful. And, if it gets to a point if things go longer at the situation, then, it might get to a point where, if financial support is needed with the partners, then, that would be much appreciated as well.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. I think we've had an amazing episode today. I personally learned a lot once again, and I hope you guys did. Reminding everybody to please join the Restart Business Group so we can all come together and talk about the issues affecting Manila nightlife. Thank you so much for joining us. To our guests, we want to focus on the need for nightlife to survive. People will still need spaces to eat, drink, and be free. And it's not just alcohol. The nightlife industry is not a vice. It's a space for people to be liberated and free, even for just one night. So key takeaways from today's episode, Eric mentioned, stay ready for changes, either big or small. Start small, but always have contingency plans ready. For Sam, be one with the people who support you, locate, cultivate, find inspiration in your unique community. And she also mentioned, don't be afraid to ask questions, learn. Marco says, keep your hope alive. It's important to be creative, resourceful, and resilient. We're looking to working harder than ever. Anna, collaborate with your people and with others. Take part in efforts to support everyone in your community. And finally, Kelvin, bar owners and artists must pivot. That's the magic word for him, towards finding new ways to monetize their respective businesses, and don't just take it sitting down and without a fight. Okay, so we are promoting once again the Facebook group, exclusive content for the issues that were discussed here. Hopefully, this can be the catalyst for the coalition for nightlife. So calling on all nightlife people, DJs, promoters, owners, etc. Exclusive trainings and mentoring sessions and the like, and access to events like industry parties and expos. Finally, we're going to pull up the poll again last time for the results. And in case the restrictions are lifted, will you be going out right away? And the results are 63% say yes and 37% say no. So hoping to see everybody out on the dance floor. Okay, So with that, we'd like to also remind everybody that there might be an industry event coming up soon. We will be announcing it here in Restart Business. And hopefully it's a virtual get-together with all the different nightlife establishments and artists that you all love. So is nightlife dying? I think not. I think it's just changing. Without nightlife, are we just living half of our lives? Literally and figuratively? I leave it up to you. My name is Stephen Koo, and I'm also saying once again that it's not game over. It's just time to restart.